Hey guys, what's up? My name's Beckett. So, what's with all the hate? Everyone hates all these new video games, and I just can't quite understand it. So, let's get into it. Alright, so I'm not going to make this too long, hopefully. Let's get into this new trend that's going on where everyone hates every single AAA, every big title that comes out. For I don't know what reason. I think it started back in Call of Duty, and Call of Duty has done its fair share of bad things when we go into it and we think about the transactions, the DLC, the loot boxes and stuff like this, but they're just hating on the game because it's not changing, it's staying the same. Well, and I've done the same, but really, where else does it got to go? They've added boost jets, jump jets, and stuff like that, and you can't really go any further with that. They tried going back to World War II, and I don't think it's going to do that well, just because it's got stale. We play the same thing over and over and over again. It just became repetitive. And I'll be the first one to call out when a AAA game is bad. It's bad. I've never been a fan of the Assassin's Creed games. I just didn't like the premise of you're out of your body, you're going back in time, and you're seeing something. It just takes you out of the experience, you know. And then we got games like Battlefield 1, which I think it was just a backstep. It's a terrible game in my opinion. I just couldn't get into it. I don't like it. I don't like the gun mechanics. It's just the slow time to kill and all this stuff. For what it should be is just like an arcade shooter. It's just a first-person shooter. It's not fun for me. I don't like it. But then every time a new game comes out, it's like, oh, it's so terrible. Look at all the hate. Destiny 2. Just go Google Destiny 2. You'll find 500 videos, everyone hating it, which I don't quite understand. I mean, it's going to be pretty much the same game as Destiny 1. They're not going to put too many new things out there. They added some new features. People are complaining, oh, there's no content. There's no this. Come on, guys. If you have been playing Destiny 2 for what, 5? Let's be modest. Let's say you play 3 hours a day. It's been out a month and a half on console, maybe even more than almost 2 months on console, and you're complaining there's nothing to do. What's that? You put in 200 hours in a game already, and there's not. It's a terrible game. It's not what I wanted. It's not the perfect game, and yet we got people on the other side of the fence who are praising these indie developers, who are just blatantly stealing the money, and they're not really making any true improvements on the game. And I'll probably lose a lot of people on this, but we go to PUBG. They've sold, last thing I checked, it was like up to like over 13 million. It's probably rising still today. And I've played the game. I put about 200 hours into it, but they're not making any real improvements on the game. It's just staying the same. I understand the concept. You come in, you don't want to dive in, you don't want to get into MMO thing, you don't want to progress into a game, you just want to come in, play for an hour and shut it off. I can understand the appeal, but at a certain point it's just not fun. Like, there are some moments in PUBG where my heart is pumping, like I feel like I'm having a heart attack. But that comes maybe it takes once an hour, maybe a couple hours, and it's only when I'm playing solo and it's just me versus 2 or 3 other people, or just 1v1, and you know your heart, and oh, I love that feeling. That feeling is amazing. But how many times does that get replicated in a day or two, or anything? And then now let's go to what are they improving? What have they actually added into the game? What are they trying to move forward? We're still on the same map. They've been talking about a new map and stuff like this and trying to make it competitive when it's just not competitive. And I don't know what the love for all these indie games are for, because if you do a great indie game, I am all for it. I will get on the bandwagon and I will love the game. We had Hellblade, was Senua's Sacrifice, if I'm saying that right. That was an amazing story-driven first-player game, which I couldn't get enough of. I played through it. It was awesome. It was like Dark Souls, kind of. Just kind of like a third-person action RPG game. And it was awesome. It had a great story. It had depth. It had everything I asked for. I was happy to throw my $30. Not a problem. Played the hell out of it. And then we got other games like Tarkov, which they just pushed the bounds. Escape from Tarkov, actually. And it pushed the bounds. And it's another great indie game. And I've put plenty of hours in. I love it. But when games just aren't good and they're just not improving, they're not they're not really fixing the engine or changing anything. And then you got a competitor like Fortnite when you compare PUBG, and it's 100 times better. There's so many things more better in the game. They've made improvements, and it runs on the same engine. And God knows, I don't know what 13 million times 30 on it, but we're probably looking at 500 million plus in sales, and I can guarantee it didn't cost that much to make the game. On top of how much have people spent on loot boxes and all this stuff, and the Steam market for all that, it's ridiculous. And then we go to Destiny 2. They've made a lot of improvements from the first game. They've added a lot of stuff, and just story-wise, the campaign was awesome. It was great in the beginning. It moved a little slow in the middle, like going from the planet to planet. It was a little boring for me. I was like, oh, this is kind of boring. I'm like, is this really that good of a campaign? And then you get to the end. The last 3 or 4 missions, they were breathtaking. The scenes and everything. I don't want to spoil too much, but guys, I'm going to spoil a little bit. So if you don't want to hear about the ending of the campaign, turn it off, shut it down. But when you're on the ship and you're on the sun and you got to move from shadow to shadow, and it was just amazing for me. The visual aspect, everything was awesome. Just trying to move through, you're burning alive, and then you get in, like there's tank battles earlier in that, and then you get in and you got to shut down all these things with the music and everything. It gave me the feeling like back when I played Halo, Halo 2, Halo 3, and even Halo Reach. Those end missions were just so breathtaking and made you feel so alive, and it was just like, this is why I play video games. So if it was just the campaign, which I played, it was definitely worth my $60. I don't know what $60 is worth to you, but then we got end game content. We got all this stuff. The PvP is much more enhanced. They fixed the special ammo problem. You can't just spam snipers everywhere. And then we got end game. They did have a few hiccups with the prestige mode. They didn't really put anything into the game, but that's not a problem, because look, yesterday came out the weekly notes, and they're adding stuff for those dedicated players. So I don't see what the hate is on it. People are praising bad indie games, and yet like these AAAs that are actually really good titles, and you'll see the developers, they honestly try to fix it when it's a good game, and they'll try to make things better. They fix things for the player base. They listen and they do it. When you have a good developer, it doesn't matter if it's a AAA or not. They're going to fix things. Just like when it's an indie title and it's a bad title, they're going to fix things like Tarkov and stuff like that. But then you got this, it's just a cow. They're just milking PUBG, because they're not really adding anything. We've been hearing about new maps. We've been hearing about new stuff, all that crap. It's not coming. They haven't fixed issues. I still have frame rate issues, which I really shouldn't have too much frame rate issues on that game. I don't have a high-end computer, but I'm not running an Intel Celeron from the 90s or something like that. It's a mid-tier PC that can run anything. If I can run Destiny 2, on max settings at like 90 FPS, I should be able to have a stable frame rate on PUBG. But like I said, I don't understand it, guys. What do you guys think? Do you think it's just like everyone's just hating on Destiny 2 and just everyone's hating on these AAA titles, or is it just a bad game to you? You don't like it. Why don't you like it? What's so bad? Does it have to be a perfect game? No. There's a lot of games that are $30 that aren't perfect games, but they're still good. And there's a lot of bad games that are $60 that are terrible. So many problems, and they just don't fix it. But when you see a developer trying to fix it and doing things and adding new things all the time, are you just playing one game way too much and you just progress through all the story and you're just mad because the developers can't push out stuff that fast? That's ludicrous in my opinion. If you're getting mad because it's not huge and it's not like a real MMO, it's not. It's a light MMO arcade shooter, but it's fun for what it is. You just got to accept it for what it is. If you're trying to make it something more than it isn't, that's on you guys. That's all I got to say on the thing. Just stop with the hate. Enjoy a good game for a good game. Don't try to make it something better than it isn't. But really, guys, let me know what your thoughts are. Do you love it or hate it? PUBG was fun for the beginning, but couldn't grasp that feeling every day. I can get on Destiny and I love playing. I love shooting aliens, and it gives me a good feeling. But you know, that awesome feeling that you're going to get for maybe a minute on PUBG just doesn't compare to the amount of time I can put in. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. So if you feel the same way, let me know how you feel. If you're like, oh, you're terrible, you don't know what you're talking about, let me know. Tell me why I'm wrong. I want to have an open discussion, guys. All right, guys, I'll see you guys next time, and have a great day.